If you haven't seen the previous video in this series, follow the link on your screen or click the link in the description or pinned comment below.
Resident Evil 2. Not that one. Apocalypse. You know what I mean.
Opening shot is an opening eye cliche.
Oh snap, this movie did what the last movie did, and I'm also not going to remove Sins for Short and/or no studio logos because I made this video in 2014, before the Birdman was calling me out.
My name is Alice.
Like most sequels these days, movie feels the need to literally recap the previous film for the first few minutes.
Well, that's better than literally recapping something we are all watching. I mean, at least the first two Resident Evil movies are 2 years apart.
How do we know they're evil? They're driving in single file in black SUVs and tailgating.
But when law enforcement does this in movies, that would kill this talking point, no?
Well, here's possibly the most dangerous possible way to display information inside a moving car.
Not really. This HUD is on the passenger side, meaning the info is for whoever is riding shotgun and not in the view of the driver. The most dangerous way would be if this was on the driver's side.
Cement truck guy might be the drunkest cement truck guy ever filmed. And whoever's driving this SUV probably had a six-pack as well. On a bright sunny day in the middle of the city with no traffic, somehow this happens.
As this is the beginning of the outbreak, this is a reference to the original opening of Resident Evil 2. That being the case, the person driving this truck has already been infected and is turning into a zombie while driving.
This is you, Gamma 7. Evacuation complete.
Oh, come on. You guys somehow found a way to drive back all in single file from different parts of the city?
Yes.
And it's still daylight outside? I don't think so.
At the beginning of the movie, when Terry announces the weather, she mentions that it's 6:10 a.m.
It's 6:10 in the a.m. and already the temperature has reached a massive 92 degrees as this unprecedented heat wave continues.
13 hours from that point places the movie at 7 p.m. If this film is set in June or July, the sun sets at around 8 p.m., meaning the sun would still be out for over an hour.
Disgraced cop pins all of her newspaper clippings on a bulletin board for motivation and to randomly inform an unseen audience.
As much shit as I give this franchise, and believe me, I fucking detest this series, this is the one movie that is closest to the source material. These clippings are game accurate insofar as to show us what happened to Jill after the mansion incident. I will not have any sinning of Jill in this movie, as she's one of the few characters Anderson got right, all the way down to her costume. The only miss, in my opinion, is that Jill isn't half Japanese.
Still no explanation for this wave of unexplained killings.
Man, I wish there was an explanation for those unexplained killings so that this story would be more contradictory than redundant.
There was an explanation. You send it for literally recapping the previous film, remember?
Like most sequels these days, movie feels the need to literally recap the previous film for the first few minutes. Fighting zombies in Resident Evil requires wearing Tomb Raider gear.
20 sins for sending Jill's Resident Evil 3 costume. She's fucking perfect, and shame on Capcom for changing it in the remake.
Actually, her original suit was included in Resident Evil 3 Remake.
No, it wasn't, because she's wearing shorts in the remake, whereas in the original game, she was wearing a skirt. I don't see any panties. And to be clear, the point isn't to see her underwear, it's simply to remain faithful to the original character design. Seriously, that change was made to appease people that don't even care about the product. It reminds me of the changes to Spider-Woman's costume. My message to companies is this: stop trying to appeal to everyone and appeal to the people that made you the billion-dollar company you are. Because when you appeal to everyone, you please no one. Because the people that didn't care about the product in the first place still won't care about the product, and you pissed off everyone who was already a fan.
All the zombies are in clear view for Jill to mow down, like she's at a carnival shooting gallery that's rigged for success rather than failure.
Probably because once the gunshots rang out, the only people not ducking were zombies? Oh, and these two assholes for some reason.
Does she have it in her contract that she won't do a movie unless it contains a scene where she wakes up in an observation chamber barely dressed in some kind of white covering?
What? Why are we sending this?
Because one kick is all it takes.
Well, yeah. A fit human male can kick someone in the face with enough force to kill them. Remember, the Red Queen stated all it takes to kill the zombies in this universe is to sever the brainstem, and I'm pretty sure you can do that with a hard enough kick to the neck area.
There's no going back.
No!
And that was the story of the unimportant character who died that one time.
You don't know how to watch movies, CinemaSins. That scene is to demonstrate Carlos's character traits. This sequence lets the audience know that Oliveira is selfless and will risk his life for others. In other words, he's being characterized here.
F you, lady. You look like a chick who just turned down 10 losers in a nightclub, not a respected member of the police force.
Slut-shaming? Also, she's suspended, doofus. She doesn't have access to her uniform. That was shown on the goddamn bulletin board that you send.
We've known this character for 2 scenes, and in each, her only visible trait is the one who kills the zombies when everyone else is pussing out.
So, Jill Valentine?
Give me stars.
You think I don't know how to fuck you up?
Next time, take a fucking hit!
Handy motorcycle and completely open guns and ammo store ready for the zombie apocalypse.
Well, yeah, everyone was evacuating because of friggin' zombies, dude. You would be the dude that gets killed because you're trying to lock up. Also, pretty sure you don't want to be riding a motorcycle during a zombie apocalypse. The only reason Daryl gets away with it is because the Walking Dead zombies are pussies.
Alice remembers everything about the weird experiments they did on her when she was drugged and probably knocked out most of the time. I can barely remember what I did last night sober.
Besides the fact that they clearly show Alice with her eyes open during all this, Alice is a superhero complete with superpowers, and you're just some dude making a YouTube video with bronchitis.
The last time we saw these guys, they were frantically running away from gunfire in a wild mob scene. Somewhere between then and now, the reporter found Jill and Peyton again, and they're all best friends now.
This is a scene manipulation. The movie never shows Terry, Jill, and Peyton split up.
What's that you got there?
My Emmy.
Reporter announces her certain death in this movie by finding ways to be selfish during a zombie apocalypse.
I don't think anyone watching this movie was under any assumption this chick that isn't based on a character from the games was going to survive, Jeremy.
These guys hear a noise in a church and think it's a zombie for some reason instead of Jesus.
But isn't Jesus Christ a zombie? You know, died for 3 days, rose from the dead and all. I mean, I'm surprised Christians hate zombie movies. Your guy's the mascot.
As per usual, on a day that was reportedly 92 degrees, old ladies like to sit by the fire, so that if anyone comes into the room, their zombie appearance won't immediately be seen for suspense purposes.
The fire legitimately had nothing to do with that sin. Her back would be turned regardless.
What are you doing?
Trained badass cop doesn't look for other people in the room and has no peripheral vision whatsoever. Also, Jill asked the zombie lady,
Are you all right?
and this dude didn't bother to say anything at that moment. He was just waiting in the wings to pop out of nowhere, I guess.
You'd think that would clue you in that the priest entered this room after Jill asked that question, but you're you.
Also, where the hell did this guy come from? You see this room? It doesn't have any other doorways or hallways or any place where zombie caretaker priests could possibly hide.
Wrong. You're looking at the room from a different perspective. Look at the scene where you sin Jill for having no peripheral vision. You can clearly see a door behind the priest.
Zombie NASCAR.
Liquor NASCAR.
Asshole Peyton decides the best way to handle this situation is by rapey methods instead of a whisper.
I'm not saying this was the best method to warn her, but you clearly have no concept of liquors in the Resident Evil franchise. If he whispers into her ear while she is clearly tense from the sudden appearance of liquors, I'm almost certain she's going to react with the sound, alerting the liquors to their position.
We're gonna need more ammo.
You know what else we're gonna need? A story.
But they have one. Ashford's daughter is trapped in Raccoon City at the onset of a zombie outbreak. He enlists the help of a few survivors as Umbrella sends in Nemesis to collect combat data and eliminate the STARS members. See? A story.
Who the are you?
Person who should be grateful that the Deus Ex Machina literally came into God's house on a machine angrily demands answers.
In other words, a CinemaSins video.
GTA mother...
You see, this is why we can't have nice things.
Sending this scene.
Also, movie panders to the African-American demographic and throws one recognizable black actor in this thing so he can do all the stereotypical black guy things.
That's mad racist. Motherfucker.
Movie takes a page from Angel Heart and gives you some awesome nudity bathed in penis-confusing blood.
Of all the times not to go, scene does not contain a lap dance.
Also, I'd like to know the circumstances by which these hookers had their tops off. Were they bitten by zombies, and during the time before they turned, they never put their tops back on? And stayed hookers?
First of all, these are strippers, not hookers. Trust me, there's a difference. Second, who gets bitten by a zombie and then runs to look for clothing? If I were a chick and got bit by a zombie, I'm taking my clothes off just so I can recreate this scene.
Raccoon City could not afford to put a C on their police cars.
Like always, Jeremy forgets that this is based on source material. In the games, the Raccoon City Police Department are referred to as the RPD. Leon Kennedy, a normal police officer, has this on his uniform. See?
There might be more of those things. If there were more, we'd have seen them by now.
Okay, just because you worked at Umbrella does not mean you instantly know how many of these monsters got out and where they would decide to go in this huge city. Also, if we take her word on this, and that was really all of them, then why did these things show up at the church? Were they just trying to get baptized or something? I guess Umbrella's T-virus is now soaked into the ground? This is actually the scary part. I don't think this one has the T-virus. It's an actual freaking zombie, which means the zombie apocalypse was about to happen with Umbrella's help or not. Also, impending zombie apocalypse conveniently happens at the exact time as manufactured Umbrella zombie apocalypse.
I honestly was about to remove a sin for the funny joke in the previous sin, but you went and ducked it up by literally repeating the same joke twice and trying to double sin the movie for it. This movie has enough flaws that you don't need to do that.
We've seen these things not even slow down when they get shot, but twice now we've seen simple kicks take them down.
You're forgetting that Alice has literal super strength.
This presents a perfect opportunity. Activate Nemesis program now.
It's not really a perfect opportunity. It's just that you wanted to find any way at all to introduce yet another classic Resident Evil baddie in this movie. Zombie stuff can get boring, so it's time to throw a new evil thing to the mix.
Given that this movie is mostly based on Resident Evil 3, they have to include Nemesis. Not doing so would be like combining Resident Evil 1 and 2 and not having a tyrant anywhere in the movie. Wait.
How can you have all this amazing data about the spread of the T-virus when you have a connection failure?
The hyper-observant Jeremy doesn't notice the connection failure is optic.
This guy knows damn well that's not a zombie, but who's going to play the blame game during an apocalypse?
Jeremy presents this as if the STARS member was trying to kill LJ.
Damn, isn't there one racist in this whole group of white people?
I swear, this man cannot contain himself when he sees black people on screen. It's uncanny.
God knows why Nemesis decided to show up here. He was like, if I were STARS guys in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, where would I go? To the theater!
I don't care what your justifications are. I'm giving out sins for any sinning of the scene. Probably the best goddamn scene in the film.
Also, he totally missed out on the two STARS guys back at the hospital. You know, those guys whose main mission in life was to help Yuri with his dreams and aspirations. They were right there when he picked up his weapons, and he did nothing. Nothing, I tell you.
Carlos, Yuri, and Nikolai are UBCS, not STARS. You would think Umbrella's insignia being on their backs would tip you off.
Special Tactics and Rescue Squad, they're the best.
Currently, the best are standing in clear view of a monster holding a bazooka. I'm not ready to give them Navy SEAL status just yet.
I don't care sinning this scene.
This evil dude is apparently...
I don't care sinning this scene.
I know that Nemesis isn't aiming for Mike Epps, and we're supposed to believe he has Terminator-style aim, but he's just shooting blankly into a theater right now. If we mapped out the paths of these 5,000 bullets being shot, it would create a perfect outline of Mike Epps.
Oh, really? That's interesting. I don't care. Sinning the scene.
Umbrella know they can't contain the infection. Raccoon City will be completely sanitized.
Alice doesn't speak like a normal person, so that Terry has to ask what the hell sanitized means.
Actually, I feel like regular people would understand what sanitized means. We are literally talking about a virus here. Get it? Sanitized? The real sin is Terry thinks she's smart enough for an award, but doesn't understand what sanitized means.
He's watching us on these cameras like this is some kind of sick game.
Haha, it is a game.
But if you knew that, you wouldn't have seen Sienna's costume, called the Lickers zombies, and would have known the difference between UBCS and STARS.
Nemesis is the luckiest bounty hunter since Boba Fett pretended to be trash to track the Millennium Falcon.
This man is still pronouncing Boba Fett as Bubba Fett.
Okay, her threat is minimal. Oh, she turned around? It's moderate now.
A textbook scene manipulation. Nemesis's HUD is always up and displays the last target's threat level. This means that Alice's threat level was not minimal, and then she turned around and changed. It changed because she got into his view.
Gentlemen, this is what we've been waiting for.
You're saying this is also you can watch Nemesis face off against Alice? Because I can think of thousands of ways to achieve this without killing the whole city.
It should not be this hard to send a Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil movie, y'all. The zombies got loose from the hive and caused a pandemic. This city being overrun by monsters was not the plan. That Umbrella used this tragedy to test Alice and Nemesis is them making lemons into zombie lemonade. It's a little spicy.
Even if you did know she was right here in this hallway, why is this the best choice for entering the building?
I know Jeremy didn't just send a tyrant for bursting through a wall. That's like their entire thing.
Don't trust shit. My butthole is puckered. Oh my god. Fuck.
See? This is like sending Sonic for running too fast.
This chick has been presented as nothing short of badass, but she's struggling more than I would to hotwire a car.
She's a police officer. Nothing about that job implies the ability to hotwire a car. Like, what even was this? She's badass, so she should be able to do every single thing? Grow up, Peter Pan. Frankenberry.
Haha, Dodge spent money on a product placement in this piece of crap. Also, did they know ahead of time that their vehicle was going to share screen time with a Pontiac?
It's almost like that's evidence this wasn't product placement or something.
We're gonna have to split up to search this place.
No doubt this school is big, but if you split up, don't you run into a situation where someone finds the girl, you have to waste time looking for everyone else after that? What a bunch of nonsense.
Not really. I mean, if you can't find the others after finding the girl, you'd assume they were dead and just leave, because the alternative is running out of time and getting nuked with this city. Remember the nuke that's coming at sunrise?
Absurd.
I think you misspelled hilarious.
Come on, I know he was called here, but do you know what the chances are Carlos found the exact room Day-Day was in and was able to save him at the last minute?
Whatever the chances were, they aren't zero, so here we are. You really don't understand what you're saying when you ask, what are the chances? If it's not zero, then it's possible for it to happen.
School that is so huge that Jill told everyone they needed to split up to find the girl becomes super small when it comes to needing a convenient gunman at the right time.
But see, now you're cheating. You've conveniently left out multiple gunshots have rang out at this point and Terry's death cry, which would have alerted Nikolai to Jill's position, as she just left from that room.
Once again, Alice shows up to a place and can't possibly have a clue what's going on, but here she is, cigarette ready to burn gas she can't possibly know is there.
I'm willing to forgive this rule of cool example on account of it being directly ripped from Resident Evil 3, where Jill and Carlos blow up a kitchen to escape Nemesis. I think your point is well taken, but it's from the game, so I'm conflicted. I won't sin you, though.
She brought a fireproof blanket, too?
Now, I will sin you for cutting the part of this scene showing she pulled that blanket from this cubby here.
Didn't Jill get under the blanket? That's what I saw, and my brain believed, but movie says, nope, that shit didn't happen.
But you literally showed video proof that only Angie and Alice got under the blanket. All you had to do was rewind and confirm. Why is this a sin?
Here, tape the story. We'll see that it gets put to good use.
I know when I'm in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, it occurs to me to give someone a dead person's camera so they can record it.
That was the entire point of the scene in the bus where they discussed the nuclear bomb. Peyton was incredulous, thinking there was no way Umbrella could get away with it, and Terry piped up explaining they would cover it up. Jill has been trying to expose Umbrella for a while now. This totally makes sense.
Now we discover which is superior.
Screenwriter gives up in the third act and just says, F it, let's just have a celebrity death match. This whole movie was a setup for Alice to fight Nemesis. It makes very little sense. Nemesis was awakened before they even knew about Alice, and even then, the reasons for waking him were never all that clear, other than fanboy masturbation.
No. Alice was woken up by Kane before Nemesis was activated. Remember the scene you complained about Mila being half naked in an observation chamber? That was less than 8 minutes in. We didn't see Nemesis until the 37-minute mark. Further, the movie clearly shows that Nemesis was activated to clean up the remaining STARS members, the literal reason he exists in the video game. But what really annoys me is calling Nemesis fanboy masturbation. Fam, learn your Resident Evil history. The Tyrants, which is what Nemesis is, are the literal point of the T-virus. That's what the T stands for. The Tyrants are the ultimate goal of the virus, the creation of a superhuman. But due to its instability, it has the unfortunate side effect of creating zombies and other monsters. Alice, an entirely made-up movie creation, is precisely what Umbrella was trying to create in this movie and the games. So you're sinning the things Paul got right with this series, and that irks my soul.
Man, you are one terrible scientist. All the evil things you've done, I can forgive, but this is an experiment between two of your creations. You can't throw another variable into the mix and get accurate results. That's cheating the scientific method, man. Who could possibly reproduce your results?
You have clear evidence that Nemesis decided to cheat by getting a weapon in what was supposed to be a fistfight. If he won by cheating, the results would have been skewed anyway.
Amazing skills include beating gravity to the punch.
This entire sequence is paying homage to the opening of Resident Evil Code Veronica, from the running away from a helicopter thing to the catching the gun before it drops thing. Only here it's actually believable because Alice is a legit superhuman and Claire is not.
Did she and Matt even fall in love in the last movie? He revealed himself to be a secret environmental terrorist. They fought some zombie demons on the train. They were captured in the mansion. Why is she so broken up about this guy's fate?
Because they were survivors of those events and helped each other survive? Jeremy is addicted to makeshift partners.
We have unconfirmed reports of disaster at Raccoon City.
Ah, I see the rest of the world finally caught wind of the shit going down here. Too bad it took a fucking nuke to make that happen.
Actually, it was the video evidence they turned in, which is the reason for this voiceover. In other words, CinemaSins doesn't know what a J-cut is.
Paul W.S. Anderson.
Hear, hear.
Leave me alone, zombies. All right, use the hose. Round one, fight. The immediate death. He's still chasing me though. Oh fuck!